May I now invite Mr. Lawrence Chong, CEO of the Consulus Global Network, to deliver the closing address for the Shape the World Summit 2019 and to share a reflection for the Consulus' 15th anniversary. Mr. Lawrence, please.
Good evening, Your Excellency, Bishop Miguel Ayuso, President of the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue at the Vatican, Chairman of Consulus Global Network, Shiraz Latif, Mr. Q of CBG Corporation, Professor Anu Grebin of the International Commission of the Economy of Communion, distinguished diplomatic representatives, speakers at the summit, brother and sister consulites from around the world, partners, friends, really, family. Thank you for being with us this evening. We had 2 inspiring days listening to leaders, builders, thinkers who through their work strive to shape a better world. There is Dr. Abdul Bari Khan, whose radical faith in providing accessible healthcare to the people of Pakistan built a large network of hospitals providing free and healthcare to thousands of people. There is Professor Annette, who called us to imagine a collaborative economy, rich with partnerships. She shared the case study of how in the midst of the tragic war in Mindanao in the Philippines, a business venture among Christians, Muslims, and indigenous people emerged to provide employment and reduce conflict. Then there were the urgent calls of action by Tony from Arup about our planet, that we need to urgently design environment-positive solutions that if we even want to have any positive impact on the environment. Abinit from Frost & Sullivan talked about the challenge of the low-skill trap, how we need to take a systemic approach to raise incomes. For example, our poor construction workers who build our skyscrapers in Singapore or build great stadiums in Qatar, when they go back to their homes, because they are not certified, they will not be able to have a higher income. So from the examples that we have heard during the summit, something that is very clear and evident is change can only happen by design. Because hope is not enough. From the story of Teresa Ganzon and her husband Francis, when they decided to commit to build a bank for the least and the poor, they unleashed a countryside revolution that micro-enterprises can also shape a better world by helping others through providing small-scale employment. In the process, they've also been recognized as one of the most successful microcredit banks in the Philippines. Another thing we learned is that common action is also by design. It's not by chance. From Alex Lau's experience in designing a common method, I really admire Alex, by the way, to bring together the public service and get them to come together and really collaborate effectively. That implementing innovation and design thinking requires a common way to do. And then we have Lee Xiang's wonderful sharing of the strategy in bringing different stakeholders in the construction industry to raise value chain and dignity among contractors and their value. Dear friends, dear family, what is clear from the many presentations is we are not short of solutions. But the people who believe and work daily to build a better world are a minority. And unfortunately, many people still believe that the status quo of selfishness and greed will prevail. But if we accept this, then collectively we have signed humanity's death sentence. I don't know about you, but I don't think I can look at my 4-year-old, Natalia, in the eye and say that Daddy did not try hard enough to do anything to shape a better world. So no, we have to and we must come together to save our planet, to do our best, even if we are the few, to try and shape a better and fairer economic system before the rising divisions tear us apart. To take this challenge seriously, it is not enough for us the nicer minority, to be satisfied with crumbs. As Kara Lubick, winner of the UNESCO Prize for Peace Education, and someone who dared to dream for a united world once said, do not be satisfied with crumbs. Aim high. And if you are who you are meant to be, you will conquer the world. So we have been organizing Shape the World Conference since 2008, because in those days in Singapore, you know, you go for any conference, it's always the template. It's about making more and more money. And I sat through many of these conferences and I felt sick in the stomach. And I go like, what rubbish are we hearing? The world is changing, something is happening. We need something of better quality, not half measures, not just transactions. So we wanted a platform to provoke discussions about where our world is heading. It's not popular. Not many people joined in the early days, but fortunately we managed to gather an audience. Slowly it grew to hundreds. Now we could stretch it to 2 days. Last time we had to be gentle with people. Once you talk about all this idealistic stuff, they say, I can only do this in the morning. Don't ask me to stretch in the afternoon. So it cannot be just growth at all costs, but there has to be a better way, growth with purpose. Having said this, after organizing Shape the World Conference for many years, it is time, we feel collectively, together with our friends, our dear friends from CPG, to take this to the next level. And that is why we have committed to do even more. All of the valuable insights of our 20 speakers and proposed solutions for the 6 tracks, from inclusive economy, leadership, business, urban development, healthcare, and education, and all the solutions from the participants will be developed into an e-book, and we will do our utmost to share a book of ideas to shape a better world at a personal level and the organization level. Now, we are thankful for our partners and speakers, and we are certain that they will continue to work with us to push forward this agenda of doing wherever we can, in order to shape a world that will be a better future for our kids. I'm especially grateful for the partnership with CPG. I think together we have worked hard to create an environment of dialogue. I know many CPG colleagues are here. Thank you for the hard work. I'd like to thank The Edge as our media partner in helping us to tell the stories in shaping a better world. Please indulge me for a while I talk a little bit about my humble company. We are an unlikely motley crew. If you look at the founding partners, Jeffrey, Ravi, how we came together, it was really rare. Different religion, different backgrounds. Once you put an operation manager and then you have a business person and then you have a designer, you know what a crazy mix that can be. But that turned out to be the best thing. Because of our diversity, we had to find a way to work together. And because we knew that only by working together can we actually thrive, that became our little secret of sharing a different way, that diversity is a great thing, that diversity can actually provoke more meaningful and purpose-driven thinking. So after we figure out how we can make this work, we understood that we want to be a creative minority to shape a better world. I still remember when we put up the tagline, Shape the World, 2 persons said something to me. One was a senior partner of a Big Four. He said, Lawrence, you are quite idealistic. You know, consultants are not saints. you shouldn't think about shaping the world, you know. You should think about something else, you know, like creating business value and all these things. And I told him, if it's not going to work, I'm going to close down the company. So I survived, and he retired. So another person was a senior, I think he was a former editor of a paper. He looked at it. Wow, you are a young chap with a big ambition, yeah? I said, it's not about ambition, it's about giving yourself a compass. It's about why you come to work every single day. And, you know, making money is not my thing, because I think that's why my partner Jeffrey is a bit afraid of me sometimes, because I wanted to be a priest. And it didn't work out not because of my wife. My wife is beautiful, but something else, right? The company just grew and grew and grew, and it never stopped. So I would say that because of this unlikely beginning, because of the diversity, because we understood that we cannot just come to work because of work. We have to have a reason to come to work, and a greater reason. In a sense, we discovered a way forward, and this way led us to understand that we want to subscribe. If we have one mission on earth, it is to make a small contribution to letting people believe that, when you work in a company, it doesn't have to feel like hell. That you work in a place where people can be happy, that people can feel at home, that people can feel a sense of purpose. And in feeling so, they themselves are inspired to shape a better world. And I think that's what we discovered, and that's why we subscribe to the economy of communion. And I want to say this. A lot of people start out with consulting firms, writing a book or doing a PhD, and then they have a methodology. Our methodologies came from the friendship of our clients. And tonight, so many of you are here. Can everyone join me and give a round of applause to all of our clients of Consulus, because it was this friendship with all of you, in order to love you, in order to make sure we don't bullshit, we don't screw up, we make sure we deliver what we say, that we kept improving our instruments and our methodologies. So the timeline out there is dedicated to all of you, because all of you, you are our mirrors, you are our voice of conscience, to make sure that we can look at you in the eye, and that we are doing work that will help you shape the world. Now, if we look at our situation now, somebody asked me, is it exciting to build a big company? No, it's not, because there are many companies that are really very big. So it's not exciting. But what is exciting is, can we build a huge company and yet it feels small? What I mean is, it feels small that when you come in, even though it's a 50,000 strong enterprise, people still feel family. People still feel at home. And I think that's what we are trying to figure out, that when we expanded all over the world, and so many of the brothers and sisters are here from the 14 over countries of where Consulus is that we are trying to build this vision of many countries, one purpose, of shaping a united world through consulting. And which is why the document of fraternity that Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar signed matters. Because when we read the document, it was almost as if it was a reflection of what Consulus is, because we come from so many religions, we also have free thinkers, but yet we share the same mission. So you have Carlos, who is in Fortaleza in Brazil, trying to shape a better world through consulting. Then you have Sindavan in Laos, with her team, trying to shape a better world. Then you have Stano in Slovakia, trying to inspire his colleagues and the friends in order to think different and shape a better world. So across these continents, what brings us together is this idea that sustainable societal development doesn't start from the United Nations, doesn't start from governments. It starts with us. It starts with individuals. And that's what we hope to do. And the other thing is, we are at a stage whereby there is a fourth crisis. If you look at the problems of the planet, if you talk about inequality, the biggest issue is we have lost the ability to simply talk to each other. We are more connected than ever, but we don't know how to talk to each other, or we don't want to talk to each other. If we look at the rising tensions now, it is a blame game. It's about that guy is wrong, she is wrong, and since we don't like the person, let's build those walls. Which is why Consulus, another piece of work that we do a lot is intercultural and interreligious dialogue. And we continue to do a lot in that field, in that area, because that matters to us. And which is why I think it's extremely interesting. Of course, I must thank the Singapore government that we benefit from this entire proximity that we have, and that you could join us to celebrate our 15th anniversary. Now, going forward, here is an invitation I'd like to invite all of us to consider. That is, if each one of us have this ability to help someone to go further, go beyond themselves, to inspire them, to think different, and to act differently, then I'm sure you will say yes, because I've spoken to so many of you, And so many of you are here in this room. You are invited because I know so many of you share this mission that we have. And that's why tonight we will have another important moment of partnership with Raffles Education Corporation. The simple aim is, how can we reshape education to shape leaders of purpose or professionals of purpose? A lot of people have been sharing with us that our methodologies, core purpose core, has been very useful for organizations. But how can we translate that to be something useful at the personal level? So here's the good news. When we have this partnership, we'll be able to introduce purpose core development at the individual level to help young people discover themselves, to help young people find themselves. And I'm sure many of you here are very happy to be coaches, mentors to all these young folks, right? Silence. Okay, laughter means consent. I'll call you, right? So before I end, I would like to thank Mr. Shiraz Latif, our outgoing chairman. As some of you might know, last year we changed our constitution to ensure representativity. So that means that our global chairman will not come from Singapore, will be from one of the 14 countries where Consulus is. And I couldn't have asked for a better chairman in Shiraz, because Shiraz know that this was a new experiment, and he worked with us to deliver something of dignity, and he represented us in Hong Kong, and he represented us in different occasions in order to spread the message of purpose and unity. Thank you, Shiraz. At the same time, I'd like to thank Mr. Jim Feng, our incoming global chairman. It's a heavy task. Jim, you have been building Consulus USA. I think if you keep recruiting more people, you will be half the global network. We'll be in 12 states of the US very soon. So I think I'm grateful for your yes, because I know you're very busy and you are doing a lot to build Leadership Core, our program for shaping purpose-driven leaders. So thanks, Jim. And we invited our wives, many of our wives, for the partners and our colleagues here for a very special reason, because so many of us fly, because so much of the work that Consulus does is out of this country. And I just want to say sorry for taking away your spouse. And I'm grateful, and I'm particularly grateful to my wife, Michelle, who has been supporting me ever since the beginning, even before Consulus was founded, and being with me. And I'm grateful to you, Michelle. And so please give a round of applause for all the spouses, please. Without them, this would have been impossible. Over 100 consulites have passed through the doors of Consulus over the years. And without them, the past and present consulites, we will not be here. So many of them have made personal sacrifices, because this work that we do is crazy and is too different and is too difficult. I think it's easy to just give template, but it's hard to try to help clients find purpose and build unity. And I think because of that, so many consulites have given their dedication and their spirit, and I know a number of you are here in this room, from all the senior partners. Thank you so much. So last but not least, I want to thank the founding partners, Jeffrey and Ravi, for tolerating me and all this moment of craziness and all this stress that somehow I inflict because of all these crazy ideas. But it has been a fun journey, right? So I think what I will try to do and promise the two of you going forward is that we will tone down a bit on the global expansion, but still, too many people are knocking on our doors. Africa is coming. All right? So once again, thank you to everyone and have a great time.